Hello students, welcome to Super 7 revision series. This is the 8th video in which I am going to discuss 5 marks question which can come in CBSE board exam based on figure 3.9 of your NCERT book. It is the ovarian and uterine events during different phases of menstruation. This is figure 3.9, diagrammatic representation of various events during menstrual cycle. Let us first see the different events which take place in the menstrual cycle. See the y-axis, point number 1 जहाँ mention किया गया है ovarian events. These are the changes or the events which take place in the ovary during the cycle. See the point number 2, uterine events. These are the changes or the events which take place in the uterus during different phases of menstrual cycle. Then see the changes in the hormonal level. See point number 3. What is there? It is showing the changes in the hormonal level secreted by pituitary, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone during various phases of menstrual cycle. See point number 4. What is there? It is showing the changes in the hormonal level released by the ovary, estrogen and progesterone during various phases of menstrual cycle. Now see the different phases of cycle. X axis देखिए, day 1 से start करते हैं menstruation, then follicular phase or proliferative phase, and in between there is a ovulation. After ovulation there is a luteal phase or secretory phase, and then next cycle begins. Let us start with number 1, menstrual phase. See the diagram. Uterine events, point number 1 जहाँ mention किया गया है. What is happening? Breakdown of endometrial lining of uterus and its blood vessels which comes out through vagina, and menstrual flow occurs and it lasts for 3 to 5 days. It occurs when released ovum is not fertilized. So if there is no fertilization, then endometrial lining of the uterus break down along with its blood vessels and it comes out through vagina. This is the menstrual phase of the cycle. Now come to second, follicular phase or proliferative phase. Start करते हैं point number 1 से, pituitary hormone levels. Secretion of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone take place from the pituitary. You can see the graph. रेड कलर के ग्राफ से FSH शो किया गया है एंड ब्लू कलर के ग्राफ से LH शो किया गया है पॉइंट नंबर 1 पर. ओके, नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन? इंक्रीज लेवल ऑफ फॉलिकल स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन इन द बिगिनिंग. व्हाट इट डज? It stimulates the development of the follicle. See the point number 2, ovarian events. What is happening here? Primary follicle in ovary grow to become fully grown Graafian follicle. So maturation of follicle, growth of follicle is taking place during this phase. That's why the name given follicular phase. Okay. Now next, see the diagram, point number 3. Ovarian hormone levels. Graafian follicles start producing estrogen. तो आप देख सकते हैं estrogen का level increase हो रहा है. It is shown by the blue color graph. Okay. Now what is happening next in the uterus? See point number 4, uterine events. Endometrium of the uterus regenerates through proliferation. So proliferation होगा and uterus की जो walls हैं endometrium, it starts regenerating during this time. So that's why it is also called as proliferative phase. Clear? Now after this, ovulation phase. What is happening here? First of all, let us see the level of hormones. Point number 1 and point number 2 diagram में देखिए. Ovarian hormone levels and pituitary hormone levels. What is happening here? Estrogen का level बढ़ रहा है. So large estrogen causes pituitary to secrete LH and FSH. You can see the point number 2 graph देखिए, upper graph. LH का level बढ़ चुका है. Okay. Then this increase in level of LH is called as LH surge, and it is very important for ovulation. Now what will happen in the ovary due to LH surge? See here, point number 3 जहाँ mention किया गया है diagram में. Graafian follicle ruptures and ovum releases, and this is called as ovulation, and ovum release is secondary oocyte at this stage. So rupturing of Graafian follicle take place and release of ovum take place because of the LH surge. This is the ovulation phase and it is the mid of the cycle on the 14th day. Clear? Now after this, there is a luteal phase. Okay, now see what is happening here. LH का level ज़्यादा है. Okay, already Graafian follicle burst हो चुका है. Ovum release हो चुका है. What will happen next because of this increased level of LH? See the ovarian events. Point number 1 जहाँ mention किया गया है diagram में. Remaining part of Graafian follicle transform into corpus luteum. So this is the corpus luteum. Okay. So corpus luteum formation take place. After this is the luteal phase starting. Then what will happen? See the ovarian hormone levels. Corpus luteum secrete two hormones. One progesterone जो रेड कलर के ग्राफ से शो किया गया है, इसका लेवल बढ़ चुका है, and small amount of estrogen is also released. Okay, now what will happen in the uterus during this phase? See here, endometrium thickens and such endometrium is required for implantation of fertilized egg and other events of pregnancy. So जब प्रोजेस्टेरॉन का लेवल बढ़ जाता है तो एंडोमेट्रियम की वॉल थिक हो जाती हैं एंड इट मेंटेन द थिकनेस ऑफ द एंडोमेट्रियम so that fertilized egg can easily implant into it. Okay, but if there is no fertilization, then what will happen? See here, in the absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates. See the ovarian events diagram में देखिए point number 1 जहाँ mention किया गया है, regressing corpus luteum is shown here. Okay, then see the ovarian hormone levels. Level of progesterone falls. After this, what will happen in the uterus? Disintegration of endometrium leading to menstruation again. So this cycle repeat after the interval of 28 to 29 days. So this is the menstrual cycle. Now see the question. Question number 1. Ovarian events दिखाए गए हैं from A to I and you have to answer 5 questions. Question number 1 देखिए. Identify the figure that illustrates ovulation. It is F. देखिए डायग्राम में देखिए ग्राफिन फॉलिकल से ओवम रिलीज हो रहा है. ओके एंड मेंशन द स्टेज ऑफ oogenesis it represent. It is the secondary oocyte stage. Question number 2. Name the ovarian hormone and the pituitary hormone that have caused the above mentioned event. Ovarian hormone is estrogen and pituitary hormone is luteinizing hormone. It is due to the LH surge. Question number 3. Explain the changes that occur in the uterus simultaneously in anticipation. The endometrium becomes thickened as it is needed for implantation. Question number 4. Write the difference between C and H. What is C? C is a developing follicle inside which the primary oocyte is maturing. What is H? It is a regressing corpus luteum that was formed from the ruptured follicle. Question number 5. Draw a labeled sketch of the structure of a human ovum prior to fertilization. So diagram is there in front of you. See the labeling. Point number 1 पर देखिए क्या लेबल किया गया है. न्यूक्लियस. 2 पर पेरीविटलाइन स्पेस. 3 पर zona pellucida and 4 पर corona radiata. So this is the structure of human ovum prior to fertilization. Now see the question number 2. Read the graph given below and correlate the uterine events that take place according to the hormonal levels on 6 to 15 days. This is the follicular phase. So when the endometrium of the uterus regenerate through proliferation. 16 to 25 days, what is happening here? Secretion of progesterone maintains the endometrium, which is necessary for implantation of embryo. 3 देखिए 26 to 28 days. If the ovum is not fertilized, what will happen? In the absence of fertilization, the progesterone level decrease. The endometrium disintegrates, leading to menstruation. See the question number B. Specify the sources of hormone mentioned in the graph. Estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen is secreted by follicle cells of the ovary and progesterone is secreted by corpus luteum of the ovary. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for staying with me. Subscribe the channel to get the information about my new video. Thank you so much.